On 1st September 2025 at India International Centre, New Delhi, in the gracious presence of Dr. Jitendra Singh, Union Minister of State Independent Charge for Science and Technology, the Department of Biotechnology, Government of India and the Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council announced the launch of India's first Biofoundry Network, a landmark initiative aimed at transforming the country's biotechnology landscape and achieving a $300 billion bioeconomy by 2030. Rolled out under the BioE3 policy, biotechnology and environment, economy and employment, the network will serve as a national platform to accelerate advanced biomanufacturing. Dr. Jitendra Kumar, Managing Director, BIRAC, in his welcome address said,
"It's my privilege to welcome you all to BioE3 Enablers Conclave on the launch of high-performance biomanufacturing platforms. You might remember DBT has already launched Biofoundry platforms on 27th August. The total number of biofoundries and biomanufacturing hubs supported under BioE3 policy in the first call for proposals stands 21. Just for comparison, the total biofoundries under the Global Biofoundry Alliance is around 40. I'm talking about the total globally. However, many of the biofoundries might not be the members of this global alliance. Still, if we take total of 100 biofoundries and biomanufacturing hubs across the globe, India with today's launch of 21 biofoundries and biomanufacturing hubs will hold 1/5 of the total global capabilities or strength, which coincidentally matches closely with India as the fourth largest economy. So the initial kickstart is very, very optimal, but this is not the end of the story. India, through its Department of Biotechnology, under the able leadership of Honorable Minister Shri Jitendra Singh Ji, will launch more and more such biofoundries and biomanufacturing hubs. The plan of conception and implementation has been led by Secretary Dr. Rajesh Gokhale Ji. Biofoundries, generally speaking, are facilities where design, build, and test and learn can be facilitated using automated and digitized workflows, along with facilities for scale up for commercialization. We already have so many bioincubation centers which may have semblance of biofoundries, but they are not full scale. They do not have the facilities for scale up. They do not have GMP facilities. They may not have the automated flow of design, build, and test and learn. So I think this is a next step on which we already build our base over the years in BIRAC, supported by DBT. For example, just what actually DBLT means. For example, innovator can design a synthetic pathway for any molecule to be produced in living organism, build the organism factory by inserting desirable genes, which we call chassis, and then test it by actually manufacturing it on the scale. This iterative process can lead to more learning and improvising the process more and more. It can be applied to not only synthetic biology but also diagnostics, precision medicine, carbon capture, and many other technologies. And you might have seen through the presentation, most of them are in the varied disciplines and varied science. So it encompasses the full spectrum of bio field that we talk about, and that's how the bioeconomy can grow in our country. The facilities can be used by startups, researchers, and industry to fast track the innovation and commercialization process. With its 95 plus BioNest incubation centers coupled with the funding support, India is poised for taking lead in engineering biology, ushering in the next industrial revolution led by biomanufacturing, which has been propounded by our secretary many times in his presentation. With this, I urge all grantees to fast track the operationalization of biofoundries and biomanufacturing hubs and start manufacturing the products that are proposed in this call. In closing, I must say that while these facilities coupled with liberal RDI funding which is going to come, India can lead at least in the global south to start with.
Dr. Alka Sharma, Senior Advisor, DBT.
The BioE3 policy, as you all know, is a futuristic and first ever policy in biotechnology, is playing a pivotal role in advancing high performance biomanufacturing platforms by fostering innovations and creating a robust ecosystem for the development of indigenous, sustainable and affordable bio-based technologies and products. Built on the pillars of economy, environment and employment, the policy is accelerating the transition towards cutting-edge biotechnology solutions, enabling the establishment of biomanufacturing hubs in public-private partnership. So as we all know that a limited capacity to transform research leads into technologies and commercial products is one of the critical barriers in translational research. The translation of bio-based products from lab to market is being hampered by lack of facilities for scale-up and to pilot scale and pre-commercial manufacturing scale. The proposed biomanufacturing hubs will comprise of pilot and pre-commercial manufacturing facilities for startups, SMEs, and industries to support early stage manufacturing. These hubs will act as innovation clusters, bringing together academia, research institutions, startups, and industry partners to accelerate scaling up of lab scale innovations and ideas into pre-commercial scale manufacturing of bio-based solutions. Tailoring for India's unique challenge and serving as catalyst for facilitating inclusive growth in biotech sector. Subsequently, these efforts will also help in lowering the cost significantly and reducing dependency on imported raw materials and technologies, ultimately will drive self-reliance, and that is Atmanirbhar Bharat. Therefore, the bioenablers are the foundation of India's next wave of biotechnology-led growth. By providing state-of-the-art facilities, high-performance biomanufacturing platform, tools, and infrastructure, bioenablers are empowering our scientists, startups, innovators, industries to move faster from ideas to innovation and from laboratories to market. These will not only transform industries but also generate new opportunities for our youth, strengthen Atmanirbhar Bharat, and position India as a global leader in sustainable biomanufacturing. Let us work together to make India as a global leader in biomanufacturing, delivering indigenous, affordable, and sustainable bio-based solutions for our nation and the world.
The Department of Biotechnology under the Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India, and its PSU BIRAC at the forefront of advancing biotechnology, innovation, entrepreneurship, and bioeconomy growth in India. Dr. Rajesh S. Gokhale, Secretary, DBT, and Chairman BIRAC, said.
I think for this, I must at the outset thank our Honorable Minister for all his amazing support, constant guidance, and his shaping the vision of India's bioeconomy. So without constant support, I can almost guarantee that this would not have happened if you would not have been backing up like the way you have been doing all this year. And it's an amazing opportunity for our country to really get the bioeconomy off the track and to be able to ensure that biomanufacturing, which is probably one of the greatest opportunities of 21st century in my opinion, where biology will meet engineering, digital economy will meet biotechnology and converge to do the sustainable growth. With this launch of biomanufacturing, the high-performance biomanufacturing platforms today, India takes decisive step towards the Global Bioeconomic Forum, building the initiatives that are investment in future and our economy for our youth and for our people of the country. I think what Honorable Minister said, that rather than having a long speeches and discussions, he would like to interact with all of you post his speech, actually an address, so that since all of you have gathered here, it would be an opportunity for him to hear out what are the exciting opportunities going around in the country, what are the kind of things that we should do, and if there are any kind of ideas that one should envisage upon, having now seen in last 1 year what we've been able to do actually. I think the biomanufacturing hubs that we inaugurate today, which we call National Bioenablers, or we also call it Mulankur, and Mul is the root actually, if you really look at, and Ankur is the new growth that is coming out to be. And I think this new roots will nurture and anchor our bioeconomy for the future of our country. And I think this will create the Viksit Bharat for 2047 in a way that is actually highly dependent on bioeconomic growth as a sustainable economy and for the innovation ecosystem. Together, we are actually supporting about 22 bioenablers for this kind of call that are there available right now. 9 biofoundries, 7 of which are in academic institutions, 2 are of them joint perspective, and 13 of these are biomanufacturing hubs that are producing various products and programs at the pre-commercial level. They have the unique focus but connected as national innovation ecosystem, and we hope this connectivity across these biomanufacturing hubs will also provide a tremendous amount of capability and capacity for our youths to aspire and grow up to looking at the visionary aspects of how these bioeconomic policies are likely to change this. Their work now spans 5 areas, for example, health and therapeutics, agriculture and food system, energy and environment, industrial biotechnology, and also digital and AI biomanufacturing. When all of these programs and products will be out in the market actually. For example, state-of-the-art cell therapy hub, nation first animal stem cell repository, CGMP facility on next-gen pharma, a hub for mRNA precision medicine, CO2 sequestration engineered microbial various fermentation facilities for functional foods, smart proteins, bio-based chemicals, and biofoundries that will together provide a national network of activities to be able to ensure that these amazing entities become the future for our our country. As we have embarked upon this journey, we have kind of decided on that India will reach about $300 billion mark by the end of 2030. However, with the speed at which we have been going around, I think this can even be surpassed by 2030 if all of you come bring together your amazing prowess that all of you have shown since the COVID times. Our country has completely taken a new directions in the biotech and bioeconomic ecosystem. And Honorable Minister always points this out actually, that how stronger and stronger bioeconomy will become the central part of our country's progress. I think last week, if some of you would have heard, actually we have also announced Design for BioE3 contest. Now this is a unique call for our youth to imagine new microbes, new enzymes, new proteins, and anything new that you want to design in a biological system space. It's available for as an activity to be do it. One can transform, by using this you can transform health, agriculture, energy, industry. And this initiative reflects government's belief that the next generation must be active designers of India's bioeconomy. And that's why this is an open national call for all of you to participate. And we did the Honorable Minister did the soft launch of it from the last week in Delhi actually. And I think we're going to launch this portal out where we're also going to give 1 lakh as a first hackathon prizes available for first 10 innovators every month for next 1 year. So it's an enormous opportunity for all of you to, bring together your prowess, your ideas, your thinking caps, and come and solve solutions for our country's future.
After the launch of high-performance biomanufacturing platforms, the Honorable Minister of State Independent Charge, Ministry of Science and Technology, remarked.
So here we are among the first to have launched an institutionalized policy at the level of the government. So, and as I know whether the BIREC team had, I just trying to inquire, they have already, I think, set up 21 biofoundries, which is, whereas across the world you just have 100. So if I have to publish a paper and make it statistically attractive, because that's the business I've been indulging in the last 3-4 decades, I would rather say that 21 out of 121 biofoundries belong to India. So that makes a good catch line and gets the paper published. It's not a small thing for a country like India, which was always following others. You have 21 out of 121 biofoundries in this peninsula itself. And you have almost 100 incubators and more than 4,000 startups who are associated with BIREC. So that's been a remarkable journey in a very short span of time, particularly when you see that before 2014, we just had about 50 startups, which is rather embarrassing even to quote. Now we've gone up to 14,000. And as it was mentioning, the bioeconomy has also gone up from just about $10 billion US. Now we are eyeing at $300 billion. And the bio manufacturing rating is also now rising higher and higher. We are already number 3 or so in the Indo-Pacific. And if I was going through the breakup, which is also quite, bio-industrial is 47.2%. The economy generated from biopharmas, 35.2%, from bioservices, 9.4%, and from bioagri, 8.1%. That means we have actually indulged in every area possible as of today. So we are not leaving any area untouched or worse. So we would have the reason to claim that we were already into it before the other countries step in. And that overall also, I think, is a reflection of India's potential as a global biotech powerhouse. We have that capacity. We have a huge resource, which has been, as we move on, we would be integrating the other resources, the Himalayan resources, the ocean resources, because simultaneously we have also the Deep Ocean Mission having been launched. We have the Roma mission launched. We have the Flori mission. So all these will somehow get integrated. And of course, with the health mission also there. And even the projects I was just trying to go through are quite interesting and quite futuristic. Like, for example, when I stepped in and he was making a presentation, the probiotics, the first thing I asked Dr. Siddhkumar, I said, is it chemical or is? He said, no, it's not chemical. So that was the first answer. Because when we came out with the first antioxidants about 25 years ago, the debate was what was their potential relevance, because they were chemically driven. And for about 3 or 4 years in the conference and seminar circle, one of the favorite subjects of a panel discussion would be natural antioxidants versus pharmacological antioxidants. And finally, the conclusion drawn from all the leading journals across the world was that natural antioxidants were always more effective. So that's why now we are also closer to achieve the goals which we have learned through experience over the years as researchers, as scientists, as practitioners of these different areas, which also gives us an opportunity to drop cues for others. And not only the bio-enablers, which would be, of course, a foundation for the new wave technology, enabling the startups, the innovators, and also the industry by way of broader linkage, but the bio-manufacturing hubs have a huge relevance which goes outside the realms of the biotechnology, which may not be easily realized by the gentlemen and the gentle ladies sitting in the room, but you are also somehow inadvertently contributing to the geopolitical empowerment of India, because the kind of headlines that you read in the newspapers today, I think time has come to reduce our dependence on the petroleum import, for example. And how would that happen? Finally, that would happen the more we indulge into what we are doing. So the path to that also is through the department headed by Rajesh Gokhale. So you can understand, you are not only confined to just microalgae, the plants and the life sciences. You have a broader contribution to make, maybe in diverse forms, which others would realize more than you do. And therefore, why I said not to each other, I was telling Rajesh, we need to bring all the stakeholders on board and try to communicate with them in the language they understand the best. So I think why I was telling you, we need to have a very robust social media communications. Like, for example, considering the day that we are observing today, in the Independence Day address, it was a great boost when Prime Minister spoke from the Red Fort and he said, I call upon all the youth to join this policy. Usually you don't expect the head of the state saying this from the ramparts of Red Fort, which is a declaration of intent. But the unique feature of the last 11 years is that in each of the Independence Day address, Modi ji has been referring to one or the other flagship schemes related to these ministries. So when he said that, many people would not have even understood. But at the same time, they might have gone home and tried to search what it is all about. And just because I was sitting in a zone where I didn't have a signal, and I was also trying to rush out to travel to the flood affected zone. So the first call, immediately within 10 minutes, I received from Rajesh that he was quite excited that Prime Minister has said that. And the second thing I did was to call up the social media team and tell them that, no, this is something that, now which means our social media team was smart enough, creative enough, prompt enough, but they didn't know the relevance which was realized by Rajesh. So you understand the integration at a wider level. And also I was telling that there are some constraints in the government sector that now, for example, it's Independence Day, these boys and girls would wait for the next day because it's a holiday. They have to ask the operator to connect to the boss. They can't straight away connect as you do in the corporate sector. You simply pick up call the boss by his initials. So in the age of real-time working, we also have to learn to overcome those psychological barriers so that in real time we could actually communicate with each other and also convey what is relevant to you. And that is, I think, how we move forward, because as I said, now I like to listen to you, but as we move on in the next 20 years, I think dawn of 2040, which is one of the earlier targets that we fixed for this policy, you would realize even before 2047 happens that BT, that is biotechnology, is going to be the buzzword as IT was. Like, for example, 30 years ago, if you said IT, it became very fashionable. So people would say IT even knowing what it meant. So BT is going to be a fashionable buzzword in the times to come, and you are going to be the torch bearers of that. And that's how the Viksit Bharat that we talk about is going to happen, but this BT is going to precede that. So with that kind of esteem, motivation and confidence, I think we have an opportunity to contribute.
Vote of thanks was presented by Dr. Nidhi Srivastav.
On behalf of TBT BIRAC, it is my honor and privilege to extend the vote of thanks at this special gathering, 1 year of Bio3, launch of high-performance biomanufacturing platforms. I must especially acknowledge the entire team that laid the foundation of the Bio3 policy, from rigorous stakeholder consultations to embedding the pillars of economy, employment, and environment. Your efforts have ensured that this policy is both visionary and actionable for India's biotech future. As we conclude, let me leave you with a thought that embodies the spirit of TBT BIRAC. नवाचार की ज्योति जलाते चलें, भारत को विश्व गुरु बनाते चलें, अर्थव्यवस्था में हो प्रगति निरंतर, रोजगार पर्यावरण संग भविष्य बने सुंदर.
Narrated by Priyanka Kumari and presented by Dilip Jha. This broadcast came to you from Indraprastha channel of Akashvani, Delhi.